What if I show you that you cannot become an effective leader without this second most critical, powerful skill that you need to learn, and that is communication. That's communication. Yes, of course. There isn't any effective leader without them becoming effective communicators. I mean, think about the first time that you began to speak many decades ago. I hope not many years ago. Many decades ago. Was it a papa? Was it a mama? What was the first one that you spoke? And look at where you are today. Oh man, please join me. Let me put my hands together for you that between then and now, you have grown so much and you are able to run a sentence, few sentences, and a whole conversation. There is a proof enough that communication is a skill and you can learn it. You can grow in it. You can improve your communication. George Bernard Shaw said that the single biggest challenge or problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Effective leaders don't leave communication to chance. They do what needs to be done so that they become effective communicators. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 6 most common aspects of communication. This will help you to start focusing on each one of those aspects that will help you to become an effective communicator. Number 1, it is the verbal component of communication. Using words to express the ideas, the thoughts, communicate the vision, whatever it is that you want to really communicate, but using the words. Number 2, it is the non-verbal aspect of communication. And this one says that you don't only need words to communicate. While you use words to communicate, there's also the other elements that are contributing in your total communication. For example, there's a rule that's called 738-55. 738-55 rule. The 738-55 rule says that 55% of communication is your body language. 38% is the tonality of your voice, and only 7% is what your words are responsible for. So as a leader who wants to become an effective communicator, it's going to be very important, therefore, to then become intentional with how we use our words, how we use our voices, and how we use the body language to ensure that there's congruent in those 3 so that a total communication that we engaging ourselves in is carrying the intended message to the people that are the audience to our communication. Number 3 deals with written communication. Composing those emails, those letters, those articles that have got to be sent out to the people that are to be the recipients of same. It's important then, therefore, as you engage in written communication, you think about the organization you're writing for, right? Number 2, begin to think about the audience, the people that are going to be the recipients of your message, of your communication, right? Because once you do that, you're going to learn to use appropriate words, and there has got to be clarity in that written piece that you are sending out to the intended audience that you are going to be talking to. Number 4, it deals with listening. Listening is very important. In fact, listening is an art that we need to develop, because as we communicate, by now, communication is not just one-dimensional. You communicate, but effective leaders are those who take intentional pauses to listen to what others have got to say to them in that communication that they're engaging themselves in. So Stephen R. Covey, in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about the 5 levels of listening. And the first, he talks about ignoring. 2, pretending. Thirdly, he talks about selective listening. Fourthly, he talks about active listening. And 5th and last, he talks about empathetic listening. Now, you really want to push yourself to become an empathetic listener as a leader, not a leader who ignores people, who pretends to be listening when they are not, or who are selective listeners. Number 5, it's about feedback. To be an effective leader, you need to take feedback very serious. When you give people feedback, give them a positive feedback, especially if a feedback is to be done in public. And where there's a need that there be any negative feedback, then do it privately. Be intentional about that as the leader. Number 6 is the conflict. Sometimes in communication, conflicts arise. And as they do, you are going to have to not focus on the individuals or an individual, but at least focus on the issue that is the cause of the conflict at hand. And once you begin to do these 6 very important things to scale yourself up in as far as your communication is concerned, that will make you an effective communicator. And of course, it will participate and contribute very positively in you becoming an effective leader at the end of the day. Now, take these 6 aspects of communication and do an audit every single day. Ask yourself at least one question in each one of those daily to reflect on the day. Check how your verbal communication was. Check how your non-verbal communication was. Check how your listening was, the feedback you provided. How did you deal with the conflict, and what about your written communication? So on a scale of 1 to 10, let me see how you rate yourself in as far as all of those 6 components of communication are concerned. How do you do in as far as your verbal communication, your non-verbal, your listening, your written communication, the feedback you provide, and how do you deal with the conflict? I'll see you in the next video.